I have wrestled with God more than I'd like to admit this last month. It's been a crazy month. I'll tell you guys about it. Hopefully, I'm not the only one. Let me take y'all back to the foundation of the ministry and why it came to be, and we'll get to where we are now. So when my 6-year-old son died, we were in the hospital for a few days because we were donating his organs, and it takes a while to find a match and all that stuff. So meanwhile, on the last day when he was going to donate his organs, I was outside with my wife and my preacher. We're all sitting out there talking, and all of a sudden it just came to me so heavy in spirit, and it was like, you are meant to teach, preach, break false doctrines, lead people to Jesus. That is what you are for. It's such a powerful thing, something that you just never forget. So for a year I put it off, and every month, literally every month, I'd get a message. Why aren't you doing what I told you to do? Why aren't you doing what I told you to do? What are you doing? You know what I told you to do. Every month until I finally did start. So right before I started, God gave me like 3 or 4 end-time dreams that were very significant, very vivid visions, etc. So he used that basically to push me on here. So I started the ministry. It was about January when I actually had started posting. So in March, it was a full-blown ministry. I remember laying in bed one night and I heard something very, very powerful come to me, and it said, you cannot work for me and for money at the same exact time. After that happened, I had a remodeling company over that last year and a half. That was what I would do for work. I had a remodeling company. And God was telling me, you can't do that and this at the same time. So that kind of sucked. I was like, well, I have to be fully reliant upon the ministry. It was hard, right? And I would keep attempting to work, and I'd pray. I'm like, God, is it a sin for me to go work or not? Is it a sin for me to go do this or not? Until one time I took a side job. My first day on the side job, right? I left, my hand swelled to the size of a balloon. Turned out I had staph infection going through my tendon, and I almost lost my freaking hand. I had originally gone to a quick med thinking I broke something, and when I got there, they're like, you need to go immediately to the emergency room before you lose your hand, and you still could. So at that point, I was like, okay, heard, loud and clear, ministry, 24/7, that's it. So that's what I've been doing, just ministry, 8-12 hours a day, just ministry, every single day. So as I've been doing this ministry, from back then to now, every now and then, a lot of the time, most of the time, it's been overwhelmingly hard. Because imagine, you have a family, you have kids, right? But you are 100% reliant upon God to take care of your bills, to be able to get food. It's been very, very, very difficult. And not only that, I always had Satan coming to me. He's like, hey, why aren't you need to work? Men are supposed to work. You're supposed to work. And I'd sit there and say, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. God, am I supposed to work? God, am I supposed to be doing this and this? God, what am I supposed to do? So this whole time I had been constantly going back and forth. Like, am I doing the right thing? And I would pray about it. I get an affirmation, then another one, and God kept supplying me affirmations over and over again until the point I knew for a fact that the ministry was the work and the only work I was supposed to be doing. Now, the last 2 months. So the last 2 months have been extremely, extremely difficult. Really bad. Ministries are not rich by no means, unless you're like, this gold title name. So it's been very difficult. So I've been finding myself saying, God, can I go work? Can I work for a couple hours a day? Can I do this? Can I do that? Just keep asking over and over again. Or God, just keep doubting myself. Like, God, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Should I be doing both? What should I be doing? Now, like Thessalonians, we're supposed to work with our hands. I know ministry is work, but it's just this psychological demonic warfare. I just kept going, God, can I go work? Finally, last week, I'm sitting there, stressed out, I start to pray. Father, is it possible? Would you care? Do you mind, Lord? Is it possible that I can just work and do the ministry at nighttime? Would this be okay for you? And then I asked him for a random Bible verse from a random Bible verse generator. And this time around, he was very, very strict with me. This is what came up. He said, if you will not take up your cross and follow me, you are not worthy of me. Now that hit me right in my soul. So I pressed next to generate the next Bible verse, and guess what? Let the beauty of God be upon us. The translations, let the anointing of God be upon us. And let God establish the work of our hands. It was a random Bible verse generator, one after the other. If you don't follow me, you're not worthy of me. And then let the Lord establish the work of your hands. I will never again ask God if I can go work part-time. I will never again ask God if I am wrong. He showed me time and time and time and time again, and I've been foolish. I've been very foolish. If you're wrestling with God right now, you're not the only one. But when he tells you something, let that be it and end it.